What's going on, guys? So, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is finally out, and it was pretty amazing. Michael Keaton is back as the Juice, with Catherine O'Hara and Winona Ryder returning as well. In addition to that, Jenna Ortega and Willem Dafoe have joined the cast. So, let's get into it. 36 years after the events of the first movie, Lydia is now a host of a ghost hunting show called Ghost House. She's in the middle of taping an episode in front of a live audience when she suddenly has a vision of Beetlejuice in the crowd. After walking off set, she's confronted by her boyfriend/producer, Rory, who seems to be a little bit more interested in finishing the show rather than her being in distress. Well, that's not good. We then catch back up with Lydia's stepmother, Delia, who is now holding an art exhibit called The Living Canvas, where she lets people paint all over her. She calls Lydia to tell her about her father being eaten by a shark and wants to plan a funeral back at their old house for him. So on the way back into town, Lydia and Delia make a pit stop to pick up Lydia's daughter Astrid from boarding school. The two of them have been estranged and haven't spoken in a very long time, ever since Astrid's father passed away. Later on, Rory selfishly proposes to Lydia right in the middle of the funeral, causing Astrid to go storming off. As she rides away on her bike, she loses control and crashes into a treehouse in someone's yard. There, she meets a kid named Jeremy, and they hit it off immediately. Meanwhile, Lydia is up in the attic with the old town model from the first movie, where she finally tells Rory about her past with Beetlejuice. However, he doesn't take it seriously at all, and mockingly says his name 3 times. All of a sudden, the two shrink down into the model and meet Beetlejuice face to face. Fearing that he's now on the loose, Lydia wants to cancel the wedding and leave town immediately. However, Astrid wants to stay to hang out with Jeremy. As that's all going on, in the afterlife, a janitor is cleaning up when he bumps into a bunch of boxes containing the remains of Dolores, Beetlejuice's ex-wife. As her body parts fall all over the floor, she reassembles herself and vows to take Beetlejuice's soul. A couple of days later, on Halloween, Astrid finds out that Jeremy is a ghost, and goes with him to the afterlife after he promises her that she can interact with her father once again. However, this turns out to be a ploy, and he traps her there, admitting that he tricked her to trade her soul for his, so that he can be alive once again. What a dick. Lydia finds out what happened, and that Jeremy was once a murderer who killed his own parents, and then died when the police tried to detain him. So she reluctantly goes back up to the attic and summons Beetlejuice on purpose to help get Astrid back. Beetlejuice agrees to help her, but only if she marries him. As that's going on, Delia is busy trying to summon her late husband Charles in a ritual with live snakes. But she suddenly gets bitten and dies. Then, Beetlejuice and Lydia go into the afterlife and find Astrid about to board the Soul Train, like a literal 1970s disco soul train that takes you to the beyond. For bringing Lydia to the afterlife, though, Beetlejuice gets hunted down by Wolf Jackson, an afterlife detective who wants to take him to justice. Then, Beetlejuice poses as a ticket taker and catches Jeremy at the ticket booth just as he's about to go back to the mortal world, but Beetlejuice sends him to hell instead. Yeah, fuck him. As they go to escape, Lydia and Astrid run into Astrid's father Richard, who helps send them back to the mortal world. They arrive at the wedding just when it's about to start, and Beetlejuice gives Rory some truth serum, making him admit that he only wanted to marry Lydia for her money. Then, Wolf and some other cops burst in, and Beetlejuice freezes them and proceeds to marry Lydia with a huge crazy musical number. Like, it's even bigger than the first one. Just then, Dolores shows up, and Astrid uses a spell from the handbook of the recently deceased to conjure up a sandworm that eats both her and Rory. Afterward, Lydia tells Beetlejuice that their marriage is actually void because it violates the rules of the book, and Beetlejuice just blows up. Then, they say their final goodbye to Delia as she goes to board the Soul Train with her late husband Charles. Sometime later, Lydia and Astrid are now a lot closer and go traveling together, where Astrid meets a guy and falls in love. After getting married, they have a baby together, but all of a sudden, she gives birth to a little Beetlejuice. As funny as that is, it turns out just to be Lydia's nightmare. The end. This movie was freaking awesome. It's really hard to top the original, but it pretty much did. All the original actors came back, for the most part, and were all amazing. Michael Keaton killed it as Beetlejuice, and the introduction of Jenna Ortega added just the right new element. And how about that asshole Jeremy? I thought he'd be a bigger villain, but nope, Beetlejuice just sent him right to hell. Everything about this one was really great, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.